People who actually love their jobs, how and why. I'm an art teacher. I shut my door, interpret the curriculum how I see fit, and have a blast making amazing projects with my kids. Since it's art, nobody really gives a crap about what I'm doing. As long as my kids are working, it gives me a lot of freedom to teach what I think is appropriate. I'm an art teacher too, and I have the best job in the school. Every year gets better too because I'm becoming so much freer in what I teach and how I teach. I want learning to be fun, and I want my students to enjoy their time in my class. I lie to them and tell them what we are doing is easy so they start to play and experiment. Only at the end, to let them know how difficult what they have done actually is. Most of our school doesn't think like we do. True creativity is a hard thing to manipulate, and through playing we have achieved some truly wonderful works of art. But more importantly, I have helped make people who value their creative thinking skills. The world needs more creative thinkers. We make everything better. Failure to engage creativity is one of the things I despised about high school. It's way too STEM focused. So if you're a creative mind or thrive on artsy pursuits, you're made to feel like a square peg in a round hole. Then you land in university, where you have the freedom to learn and bloom in the things you're actually good at, and suddenly you have career options that aren't like business or accounting or the trades. Wasn't a goddamn soul in high school that told me that communications is a career path I could take. Really, in my high school it's very anti-STEM focused, and if that's what they're trying to do, they're doing a great job. However, I get the feeling it's not. My French immersion high school setup is very sports and arts centered, which sucks cause I don't really like either. We have loads of arts and sports options, but I actually had to switch into the English science classes because of how horrible the French ones were. Also by force I had to switch into the English math program, even though I've never done math in English before, because they don't offer it at any other level than the highest. They also have something called college and trade oriented classes, where they have philosophy, law and psych, but also auto shop and metalworking, which is neat. But out of all the special program options we have, which are 7, and they're all intense sports or arts like a theater intensive, I like science, now that I'm actually taking good science classes. However, the only science focused programs is a sports science intensive focused around geology. Also, none of the classes are set up to fit together. Science 8, 9, 10 all flow really well, then we move into the specialized classes and your options are chemical 11, physics 11, life sciences, applied sciences, chemical 12, physics 12, geology 12, biology 12, psych 12. Notice how only 2 of the class options are follow-ups to each other. Like, who does that? Honestly, high school is like daytime TV. The audience is too big for it to be any good for anyone. I was a 55 average in high school, but spent the duration of university on the dean's list because I was able to play to my strengths and study shit I found interesting. Just survive high school. That's all you gotta do. It doesn't matter once you're out. I love working in manufacturing welding. There's a lot of satisfaction in creating something out of something else. I take pride that my work meets specs and the money is okay. It's not necessarily a rare skill set, but not everyone can do it. I've struggled with that and depression, so being successful at my trade is very important to me. I used to have a job I loved. I was a team leader in a team software systems design. Great team of people working for me. Great management above me. Management who actually cared, but recognized that I knew more about the subject matter than they did most of the time, with mutual respect. As the team leader and technical lead, I had complete control over the direction of my team. Our product, that is extremely niche, so I don't want to give further details, is something that was making the world a better place. Had lots of really cool kit to play with. Had the option to travel internationally to relevant conferences, all expenses paid. Reasonable pay, not the highest but enough to pay for the mortgage and have enough left over for some luxuries like foreign holidays when the world isn't on fire. Alas, I had to leave my job for medical reasons, but at least I had an awesome pension. How hard was it to get this position? How much schooling did you take? I'm fresh out of HS and I'm curious about software as a career choice. How much schooling did you take? I'm in the UK. I took a 3-year mathematics course at university and took a load of computer science courses as well. Then I got this position about 14 years into my career. Previous to this, I had held various graduate jobs in software roles, gradually working my way up to technical lead and senior technical lead, then took the sideways move into more of a technical management position. How hard was it to get this position? I worked for a large organization, and the initial assessment and interview was very challenging. Once I was in, the promotion panels were tough. But once you got the promotion, getting the job was fairly easy. It wasn't actually that hard, but I was definitely lucky and was at the right place at the right time when the job became available. HTH. Dog walker here. I love being outside all day, little to no contact with humans, and spending every day with all kinds of fun and adorable dogs. There is virtually no downside. They are so happy to see me and even happier to walk. It's seriously criminal that I get paid to do this, lol. I'm a guitar maker. I spend all day toiling in my workshop attempting to make more responsive and more beautiful classical guitars than the last. I get to meet interesting people through commissions and by getting to know other colleagues. I've spent a significant amount of time studying in Spain to perfect my craft, affording me both professional and personal experiences that have shaped my work and given me great stories to tell at the bar. I never have to deal with crappy bosses, wake up when I want to, work when I want to, take off when I want to, and have the ability to travel to my old teacher's shop on the Mediterranean for a working holiday should I tire of my current surroundings. It's a difficult skill to gain proficiency in, and you really need to live and breathe the work to make any sort of money. I'll never get rich, but that's not all that important to me, but I can't imagine doing anything else. All of these commenters are telling you about jobs with great features, but I assure you that there are definitely people in the same position as them who didn't love the job. I know plenty of people who love art or music who got into full-time jobs in those fields and ended up hating it, as well as people who absolutely love working retail. So what's the secret then? You can't just find a job you love. You have to find what you love within your job. You could be playing video games 8 hours a day and it would feel like a chore after a while if you just focus on what you need to do to run out the clock. The kind of people who love their jobs actively try to make it an enjoyable experience by connecting with their coworkers or putting value into the things they do. And this applies across every single job you could have. Of course, it is much easier to do this if the job has more enjoyable aspects. Having terrible coworkers or not being engaged with the type of work you do will make it much harder to foster love for your work. So you will see a lot of the people in this thread focusing on how much freedom they get or how much the skills they use mesh with their own strengths. I can assure you though that no amount of vacation time or free snacks will make a job great if you deeply resent having to waste your time on it. I left my career in the big hustle of the city LA, and before that Toronto, and moved to a tiny town in the mountains where I took a job as a baker. It's like living in a Hallmark movie. There isn't a stoplight around for like 30 miles and everything is all Alpine Village and shit. I make half the money I did at my old desk job, but my expenses are half what they were, and I have zero stress. Our customers are always happy because pie. I'm a software developer, and it gives me a lot of intellectual satisfaction, if that is a thing, and you can reflect and improve yourself. Also, it takes a lot of learning, and it is really cool to directly apply things you learned out of interest. Besides that, it's a well-paid job, and has really good stability and tons of opportunities. I'm an averagely skilled developer, but I never fear getting fired. There is such a high demand that I can find a better job within weeks. My workplace in particular is very low stress, no deadlines etc. I can slack a lot and take it easy when I'm not in the mood. I came from a low-income house and environment, and I feel like I cheated life by becoming a software developer when I compare my situation to people around me. I'm a truck driver. I get paid $100K a year to travel and see the country. Granted, I can only see it from the interstate. Still better than nothing. Me and my wife are a team drivers expediting around USA and sometimes Canada. We love it so much that we don't have a house or an apartment. Instead of taking a home time, we just put ourselves out of service on our app and take time to have fun in whatever location we are at. We spent some time in Vegas, New York City, Miami, Rapid City and Rushmore and etc. It's an amazing lifestyle. And yes, this is lifestyle now work. Since I drive in team with my wife, we get 2 settlements into 1 bank account. I work at a cannabis dispensary medical. It's my dream job. People do not generally come into my work in a bad mood. I enjoy helping people. Love cannabis. Win-win. It is looking like my state might be considering it, but even if they don't, I at least want to work at a good CBD dispensary. The problem is I have a background working in plants production, not growing. So I'm curious, would I have a chance to get my foot in the door with no experience, but with plenty of knowledge of different cannabinoids and their benefits, plus knowing how to grow with experience? I was hoping to get in before legalization for my dream job of growing. I'm a member of the International Union of Elevator Constructors. I install elevators for a living. The benefits and pay are incredible. The work is very satisfying, and I actually enjoy coming into work every day. It can get stressful and some days are way harder than others, but generally it's a pretty fun job building shit and using tools all day. Extremely supportive team. Insane benefits. Great pay. And the work I do is extremely easy. There's a lot. And some nights go later than I would prefer. But the work I do is not only not difficult, but very fulfilling too, because I'm making very direct impacts on a lot of small business owners. Getting to see them hit all kinds of exciting goals. Earlier this year, mid-pandemic, I had a client tell me they were able to get a family vacation scheduled for the first time in over 5 years thanks to how great business has been, and directly thanked me for helping him get there. That's why I do what I do. Worked retail for 10 years. Took a pay cut to go to a different, small grocery store. It's kind of like a David's, if anyone knows that chain. Bit bigger. It's in a rich ass development. Old white folk, nice tips sometimes randomly, just for pointing out the bananas or something. So I'm the only one in the produce department. Akara run this bitch. Zero supervision. It's pretty nice. I can take breaks whenever I want. Free lunch from the deli. Don't have to deal with customers aside from the occasional "where is X?" Pretty sweet gig. But I've already gotten a raise to match my previous salary, and the usual promises of more. We'll see about that. But I'm happy for now. They're happy with me. All is well. And I'm not pissed off all day anymore. Only complaint would be that, because the way the trucks are scheduled, I don't get 2 days in a row off anymore. But oh well. I can deal. I don't love everything about my job. I would still rather devote those hours to hanging out with friends, or playing video games or something. But I'm a freelancer writing in a niche field, so I can ask a pretty high hourly rate for my work. I don't need to work 40 hours a week, sometimes closer to 20. I get to define exactly what those hours are, and I work from home, or wherever I feel like bringing my laptop. Plus, my current company treats me well in other ways: annual trips, cash bonuses, little gifts like bottles of wine and gift cards, and plenty of verbal reinforcement of my value. And the people themselves are pretty cool. When I actually have to sit down at my laptop, I still roll my eyes, but I can also take a break to watch TV whenever I want. So it could be way worse. I clock in. They give me some tasks to complete. I complete them. I clock out after 8 hours. It's a union job and I make top pay, and I'm at the top of the list. So I get to write my own schedule. I'm not in management, so I don't have to deal with customer or employee issues, or deal with the constant emails and conference calls. I own and run a farm. We do a lot of gourmet mushrooms, garlic, specialty fruits, etc. I have always loved to cook. Cooking with fresh local ingredients is awesome. Basing your life around producing those ingredients, cooking with them, and sharing with your community is amazing. I would never have a normal job again. It really is true that with some persistence and a bit of luck you can find a job that doesn't feel like work. Software developer. Probably because I chose it as an adult and retrained in it. So it was more of a deliberate act than my previous roles, which were the usual stumble out of uni and get a job in an office sort of thing, where you pick something you think you can do rather than out of any sense of pleasure you get from it, or whether it can grow, or how much it pays. Retrained at 35. Had to be sure this really was the one. You have to enjoy it, or it'd get boring quick. It's creative, which was a skill I really had to learn after years of doing what I was told to do for maximum points and getting into a load of trouble if I ever deviated. Yay call centers. Office life is generally relaxed, flexible working and no dress codes. Benefits are often good and the people too. Manage a small animal hospital. Always wanted to work with animals, but didn't have the drive for school. Got scooped up by my current boss when my former employer went out of business. Got OTJ training. Animals people. Get to learn, see interesting things all the time. Pay isn't wonderful, but I love going to work every day, even when the humans are assholes, because the good far outweigh the bad. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.